Everyone, and welcome out to Walk-Ons. It is Game On CENLA Sunday night here live. If you've got an opportunity looking for something to do on this Sunday night, we're out here talking high school football for the next hour and a half or so. There's been a lot of NFL football on today that's had the crowd here pretty excited, but we're going to do our best to talk all things high school football in that area that stretches from the west side of Louisiana through central and as far over to the east as we can get. I'm your host, Doug Gann, bringing you another edition of it, joined as always by my man Lamar Gafford from the Town Talk. Lamar, and welcome.
Welcome, everybody.
Hang on, Lamar. I got to get you up again.
You done killed us, Mike.
Hang on. We're going to get you fixed somehow. Talk to me, Lamar.
Hey.
There you go.
is.
See?
All
Look,
right.
Taking care of technical difficulties just like that. Although the newspaper guy, he never sounded better when the mic quit. Anyway, no, look, that's I tell you what, the knowledge that sits on either side of me is immeasurable. You guys are absolutely amazing. So anyway, Lamar, great weekend of football.
Yeah, great weekend of football. By the way, how about them Warhawks? How about them Cowboys? You know, my teams are all getting the win, so there we go.
I quit. I'm not doing that anymore. So anyway, also joined from that area that covers Sabine, Beauregard, and Vernon Parish, BWS Sports proudly presents my man Will Norris. Will, welcome back.
Glad to be back, man. Week 3, and we're getting better every week.
I think so. I think things are picking up. We're going to have a few more things that we bring out to you. One thing that we're going to make sure that we do, and I don't think either of you guys know this either, I've got a $25 gift certificate from Walk-Ons, and it's going to go to somebody that online asks the best question of the night. We're going to get questions from our listeners, and so you're going to get mailed out to you a certificate from Walk-Ons for $25. So that's courtesy of the folks here at Walk-Ons, Ricky Tompkins and that group, and again, couldn't do any of it without them. Okay, enough of that. Let's get into football. Lamar, big game out at the reservation there, Tioga and Pineville doing battle in one that came down to the wire.
Yeah, if you love defense, this was your game here. 7-6 win for Tioga, and it was scoreless at halftime. I will say Caleb Sullivan, I mean, he had a touchdown. He had basically the touchdown for Tioga and a touchdown-saving tackle for Tioga, but special teams for them. I mean, I think that really helped them out. They took advantage of a missed bobbled snap.
Look, when we got the update that it was 7-6 on there, and you never want to see what a bobbled snap or a bad exchange or anything. We were hoping that the young lady that's the kicker hadn't missed it, and it was good. It wasn't good to see that it was bobbled, but I know it would have been tough to live with that.
Yeah, it would have been tough to live with that, but I mean, I got a chance to talk to her after the game, and I told her, look, hey, I've been hearing about your story. She was very positive out there, and I told her, hey, look, we're going to do a story on you sometime soon. By the way, this week for me. So she was very appreciative. So I'm glad it didn't. If there's anybody that didn't come down to her and everything, I just hated to see it for Pineville to lose, obviously. But there had to be one winner and there had to be one loser, and Tioga pulled it out.
A lot of folks that were listening on, we had two radio broadcasts over there, and I'll have to have a meeting with both of my guys that were there Monday and let them know that in LHSAA, in high school rules, it's dead on the miss. You can't take it back. They were looking for a point or 2 points or whatever coming out of it. I was like, no, we don't have that. So that was the big game around this area this week. Lamar, we'll get back to you in a minute with some more overall scores. But I'm going to go over to Will and ask you, there are a lot of good games down in your neck of the woods this week, too.
Well, the game that jumped out at me, I listened to it on one of our local stations. DeRidder on the road at Jennings, 28-27. Just a great win for Coach Parmalee and his guys.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And that puts Jennings at 0-3.
Yes, and then Trevor Steele, that was his first 200-yard game of the season. He had 2 touchdowns. But this kid's got an offer from 10 out of 16 schools in the SEC. But if I was him, I would sign quick. That offer is not looking good. I don't think they will retract any offers, but I'd go ahead and get that business handled.
Go ahead and get it done. I had an offer from 2 SEC schools. It was to go to the other ones. So that was I don't know if that was too much of an offer. So a little bit about your neck of the woods. Leesville had a big game this weekend. They went big.
Well, they bounced back. I mean, they had the they went up to Independence Stadium and got destroyed by Captain Shreve, and They didn't play the Wampus Cat way, which that's all Coach Causey stresses these kids, and they got back on track. They played a LaGrange team who didn't have football last year. I don't think the outcome was up in any not predetermined before they got there. I think Leesville was going to win the game, but Coach Causey, as usual, it was I think 50-4, 14, and a lot of them points were scored late in the second half. And Coach Causey kind of cleared the bench, got everybody to play opening night at home, your first home game, and got everybody on the field and got to look at his team, but. That's one of them feel-good games where everybody's ready, and now they're making the trip across the river this week to Pineville.
Yeah, that's going to be there. There's a couple of games that combine the two sides that really we have. We've got Lamar and his more centrally located schools are playing a couple of the westernly schools over there too. So Lamar, let's get a couple of your thoughts on some of those games that are coming up.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of the scores here. We have Vols that won over Eunice 34-7, so no 100-point night for Coach Boone there.
What happened there? I mean, 80 last week and 34 tonight, or 86 last week. Wow, man, I guess they might have been tired still.
A little bit. But Carlos Bassett, he ran the ball pretty well. He had over a 200-yard game. I think he had about 3 or 4 touchdowns in the game. And, the one thing while I was driving back here from Monroe, Coach Boone, he sent me a picture of, he just said pain, and it was like Bassett running through somebody. So
wow.
You got to be brave if you're a high school kid trying to tackle him.
Yes.
Yeah, that's and we've seen a line of those come through Central Louisiana. I'll age myself, but you talk about the Collins and Eddie Fuller and those guys that came through that area, just big, solid, bruising running backs that have been there. And Pineville's got one of those this year too in Jackson.
Yeah, they do. They definitely do.
But yeah, it's good to see that. But anyway, you've got some more scores there too.
Yeah, some other scores here too. Winfield 24, Delta Charter 8. So the Tigers, they're now 3-0. Ash defeated Marshville 49-7. Another one that we have, Natchez Central defeated Southwest Washita 34-6. So they're 3-0 for the first time since 1996. LaSalle got themselves a 32-20 win, so they moved to 3-0. Actually, they're going to be 4-0 because their opponent caught COVID, so they realized that yesterday. So, hey, you get 2 wins in one weekend.
That LaSalle victory, one of the teams that we talk about on here at Maryville as well. Your thoughts on that, Will?
Well, Maryville's one of those schools that once they get into district play, and it starts this week, but not really a good thing for them as they play the state runner-up in Grand Lake. Grand Lake lost in the finals last year to Oak Grove, and they're back reloaded and looking for Bear. But Maryville goes in 0-3. They're looking for that first win of the season. I don't think they're going to get it against Grand Lake, but Coach Cootie's got those kids prepared. They played a Texas team last week. They played this week, lost by a short margin. But I think that they can bounce back and pick up that few district wins. I think they're going to be all right going in the playoffs.
I want to look at some of the games that were – this is a slide that shows the area finals from week 3 on there. It should be the first of the orange slides. We'll get that brought up on the screen, and you'll be able to look at that. But this is courtesy of the Crier Sports, BWS Sports Roundup, and I just like the logo in there, too. That's a good thing. But tell us about the finals that were from your area. I know we talked about one of them. I'm an honorary Rose Pine guy now, so I need to know how Rose Pine did.
Rose Pine didn't have a whole lot of trouble with East Boulevard. That's one of those games where they're about 15 miles between each other going down the woods. But it was Ethan Fry. You and Lamar's going to have to get on him again. Another incomplete pass.
See, we need
prime time. Y'all can text the boy.
We need to
I'm about to
work.
do that right now.
Miss Brandy should be commenting any minute. I mean, if she hadn't already. And she may win that $25 gift certificate.
There you go.
But Ethan was 6 for 7, 106 yards, 4 touchdown passes. Just a good night for him. Then Jake Smith, we talked about him last week, Louisiana Tech baseball commit. Come in, got a little work, threw him a touchdown pass because in the upcoming weeks when Rose Pine goes to Logansport, Ethan will be at Fenway Park in Boston, and Jake's going to have to play quarterback that week. And that was a great game last year. And then Grant Ducote, 2 rushing touchdowns, 4 carries for 114 yards. That gives him 11 on the season. My guy, the Swiss knife, Isaiah Stinson, had punt return yards, kickoff return yards, played defense, 3 catches, 75 yards, 2 touchdowns. Cole Donahue and Woods both had a receiving touchdown. Then Aiden Klein for Rose Pine was their leading tackler, and he had an interception as well. So doing it on, as a complete team effort if you're the Eagles. But this week now, they got Sacred Heart coming to town. And me and Lamar was talking before we went live. Sacred Heart comes in at 3-0, one win via the forfeit.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to get bit, it's going to be by somebody like Sacred Heart. It's coming in 3-0, and then the only distraction you've had all year is this week, and it's homecoming week.
As if you don't need another distraction. Now we're going to look at some of the upcoming games that are in there as well. We'll move on to the next slide that we have. It looks like you guys get started on Thursday night over there with a couple of matchups. That Welsh and Pickering game, Westlake and DeRidder, and then Maryville and Grand Lake. Those are all Thursday night games.
Yeah, we got the Thursday night slate. That association there comes from Lake Charles. They're shorthanded on referees, so a lot of the area schools join in and try to get Thursday night games, and then now they can play Thursday, Friday, or Saturdays. But with Pickering, they got beat again by Bunkie. We talked about Bunkie last week. Bunkie's 2-0, but Pickering will be playing they beat Pickering 31-8, but this will be Pickering's third home game in a row, and you don't want to start out at home going 0-3. And
that's right.
Marlon Freeney had 173 yards passing, but three interceptions. And then Welch, who on paper, and I love the on paper saying, they won one game last year.
Right.
Well, they bounced back this year. They went from the wing tee to the spread. They bounced back this year. They're already 2-1, and the Hounds have went from scoring, I think, about 14 points a game. They had 14 points 5 times in the last 2 seasons, and now with the lineup they got now, they're averaging about 30 points a game, but they went to that spread offense. So, it's going to be guns blazing at Pickering on Thursday night.
Well, that's gonna be a good one. Then we've got a whole slate coming up on Friday night. But to interject here, Ethan won't be at Fenway Park when you were talking about him. Brandy's on point. She said it got moved to Citi Field where the Mets play in New York. So it won't be in Fenway. It's, in fact, in Citi Field. So she said to get your stuff straight before you put it out. No, she didn't. I added that. I added that myself. But, yes, so, in case you missed it, Will talked about the gift certificate we're going to have. If you've got a question and you send it in to us, could be relating to anything football. We're gonna keep it at that. If it's the question that we deem as the best, you're gonna get a $25 Walk-Ons gift certificate.
Can't beat that.
Courtesy of the folks here at Walk-On. So we'll do that. But looking ahead at some of the games that are the Friday night slate, you've got the one that we were talking about, and that's Leesville at Pineville.
Yeah, Leesville at Pineville is always a good game. I was there last year with our buddy Rich Dupree, watched that game, and it was close to the end. But that's just a good rivalry game. And if you're Leesville, you're coming over here wanting to handle business prior to district starting. And if you're the Rebels, you're still looking to pick up that elusive, another win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your side of it, Pineville coming off of that 7-6 loss, heartbreaking loss.
Yeah.
How do they regroup and rebound to get ready for those Wampus Cats who are coming in, fired up?
Yeah, that's one of the things here. I mean, I did get a chance to ask Coach Bell about it, and of course it's homecoming week, so of course they're gonna have to block out those distractions there. But I think they're in a good place right now. They really played hard these 3 games here. They're so close to possibly being even 3-0 at this point.
Right.
But, I think they're going to have their best foot forward when they come see a very good Leesville team.
Indeed, and we talked about Sacred Heart at Rose Pine. That's a battle of 2 undefeateds, I believe, coming in that one. So should be a really good matchup. Another homecoming game. There are a lot of homecomings getting in as they like to jam those in before district. It's homecoming at Ash this week as well as Peabody comes to town for that one. And then the big one here we'll get you guys' opinions on is Tioga and Manny. You saw a Tioga defense led by defensive coordinator John Mooter that held Pineville to really only a score at the end of the game, and that was a short field on a punt that was shanked.
Right.
And so Tioga got the ball down deep, or Pineville got the ball down deep in Tioga territory. Were able to get it out of, I think, looked like the Wildcat that was being was being ran. They got there and then led to the bobble, and that was gone. But get your thoughts on Tioga, Manny. What does Tioga do in this one?
I think their defense is starting to improve right now. I mean, they have been – talk about Pineville being in games in their first 3 games of the season. I think Tioga has been in games in these first 3 games as well. Their 1-2 record, I mean, I understand they've had to have some young players step up this season, but it's not indicative of what they have done this season here. I mean, they were tough against Como. They were very tough against Bird. And I know having to go up against Manny is going to be a different monster there because obviously the fireworks and the show and all that good stuff there going on there. But I think they're going to have their best foot forward there too.
There you go. So what is Manny? Manny is on fire since that opening week loss to Union, which again one of the top teams in the state of Louisiana. If you when you measure size for pound is that Union team. And what is Manny doing since then? They've been full speed ahead.
Well, the Union Parish, in my opinion, is either the first or second best team in 3A, so that's nothing to hang your head about. But Manning was up 16-6 at the half. But since that defeat at home, the Tigers in the last 2 games has put up 111 points. So, if you're Tioga, the Indians are going to have to score to stay in this game. 7 points is not going to win this. It may not even win the first 3 minutes of the ball game. But Coach Jess Curtis and those Tigers, I mean, you think about Manny, a lot of times we think about the defense first, Manny made. Well, this year the offense is averaging 47 points a game, so they're doing it on both sides of the ball, and they shut out North DeSoto 50-0 Friday night, and I had 3 different people tell me that was Jess being really, really nice to Coach Dunn.
And look, that's an offensive-minded coach who has you could probably go back through his historical record and on one hand count the times that he's had a team that's been shut out. We talk about Dennis Dunn.
Yes, sir, and then to come off of that game, and now you're back at home, and you want to redeem yourself from the Union loss. I think Coach Curtis was disappointed in the coaching staff, the players, and disappointed for the fans of the performance they put out there that night. So I look for a much improved Manny team this week at home, and if you're Tioga going there, you've got your hands full. But then on the Manny side, they've played DeRitter. They were going to scrimmage Leesville, and they played Tioga. So everybody in District 3-4A or 3-4A, they have almost played this year.
Well, there's going to be fireworks on the field. There'll be fireworks off the field. That's going to be one of those that you want to see. We'll see if that juggernaut of a Manny offense against that hard-charging defense of Tioga led by Coach Mooter, what they're able to pick up. And then East Bow is at Elton in that one and Dunham at South Bow. Yeah,
East Bow's starting district. That's the 1A district. They lost to Rose Pine the other night, and it just at least they scored on Rose Pine. We're going to give them credit for that. They put up 20 points on a defense that hadn't allowed a score in 2 weeks.
But, oh, by the way, Rose Pine only throws up 55 in that one.
A double nickel.
Right.
But on the East Bow kids, Marler Atkinson and BB all scored a touchdown. Caleb Johnson had 69 yards rushing. And they're going into district play, and Elton comes in. Elton's 0-3. So if you're East Bow, you want to get that first district win and go ahead and beat Elton. And then if you're South Bow, you're hosting Dunham this week. South Bow right now sits at 0-3. Dunham comes in at 1-2. So if you're South Bow, you're back at home again. You're wanting to get that win for your home crowd and your home folks. Ethan Jerkwad had 18 for 133 and a touchdown. Jesse Sheff had 18 for 113 and a touchdown. So you're getting production. They only lost 21-14 to DeQuincy, and it was a close ball game. So I think sooner rather than later, the Knights are going to pick up that win.
Well, there you go. Looking forward to that. We're going to take our first break of the evening. But before I take that back. Here comes Brandy Fry. She's got a question, and this is a good one. So I tell you what, we'll get to that question when we come back. Yeah. We've got to take a break here, or we'll talk all night without letting our sponsors get theirs in. So, Brandy, your question is going to come up next. And right now, regardless of, before we even read the question, she's in the lead for the gift certificate because that's the only question that we've seen popped up. Get those questions in there. Like and share if it's your first time finding us on 446 Sports. Go up there and hit that like and follow. We'd appreciate that. When we come back, we're going to get into that question, and then we're going to get in some of the key performances that stood out to you this week, Lamar, up in our area. We know that Will's talked about some of them from down in the southwest side or the western side of central Louisiana. We'll talk about that. We'll do that when we come back. This is Game on CENLA, here live from Walk-Ons. It is a 446 Sports production.
It all started with a sketch on a napkin. An idea created by 2 walk-on bench warmers. And after 10 years of hard work and perseverance to turn their dream into a reality, it's the #1 sports bar in America.
Welcome to Walk-On.
Walk-Ons, because everyone needs a little playing time.
The fine folks at BK Distributors want to thank all the educators for weathering the storms, so to speak, through 2020 and beyond. Thank you for your dedication to our children. The end of the school year awards are now available. Any type of award, trophies, banners, plaques, they do it all at BK Distributors. So with school almost out, that means summer leagues are in full swing. New items, same great prices, and fast turnaround. BK Distributors, Highway 20 in East Pineville behind Arby's.
And we're back live to walk-ons. Great question that came in. I am Doug Gann alongside of Will Norris and Lamar Gafford, both representing their industries quite well. Lamar Gafford with the Town Talk and everything else sports around this area. And, of course, Will Norris with BWS Sports. And look, it has been a thrill just through 3 weeks to start to gain a knowledge of some of these teams that I haven't been around. The South Bows, the East Bows, the Maryvilles, Rose Pines, Pickerings, and all of these teams. It's great to see a real good knowledge of Leesville because they've generally been in the district that's been here for so long. But one of the questions that we have in, and remember, if your question is selected as the question of the night, you're going to get a $25 gift certificate from Walk-Ons. So we appreciate Ricky Tompkins and the group and everything they do. But the question is, and we talked about it off camera just a little bit, so you've had a moment to think about it. I'll let you go first, Lamar. And Brandy says, here's my question for you guys. If you could take any two teams in Louisiana to play each other, what two teams would you pick? Lamar, we'll go with you.
I think right now, if I was the commissioner of the LSHAA, I would say bring 2A back together and say, hey, let's see LCA face against Manny for a championship or something like that. I mean, I think that would be a hard-hitting matchup. The Knights down there, they've always been a pretty good program. And, of course, Manny has always done a very good job in the public school side. I would just like to see that Manny running game of London Williams, and also see Tackett Curtis having to try to stop some of those guys from LCA.
Wow, that's setting the bar pretty high. But we'll go your route.
Well, I would pay to watch that game. I wouldn't even ask to use my pass. I would pay to watch that game. But for my neck of the woods, I mean, the game I would really love to see, and I mean, it could be tonight or this Friday night. I would love to see Rose Pine at Manny on the turf. I think those two teams would be a great matchup. We may get that matchup down the road in the quarterfinals, semifinals, or a championship game, but just for the me knowing the kids on each team and the coaches and the communities, I think that would be standing room only. They'd be parked up down the sides of the road trying to get in there to go watch that game, and it would be a joy to watch, and I don't think the kids would disappoint anybody.
Without a doubt. And so here, my response to the question, and I'm going to get on the soapbox just for a moment, and you guys have heard me say this before. I absolutely, unequivocally, without a doubt, and without any issues with what I'm telling and saying is I hate the split.
Me and you both.
I hate the split. So, long range, Brandy, I want to see the Division I winner play the 5A winner, and I want them to do that a week after they win in their respective divisions. And I don't want to see a split. If you could imagine that, you'd have had an Acadiana and a, what was it, John Curtis? Catholic playing each other again in that game. That would have been great to see. But, gosh, I don't know. There are so many good matchups, and that's such a great question. But I want to see, a measuring stick, I want to see Ash and Catholic go at it and play. Right. Because they're dominant teams. We've seen what Catholic has done to some of the top 5A teams. And so being here and being close-minded, yes, I'm sorry about that. But as a personal standpoint, if I don't get Division I and 5A playing each other, then let's put them on there.
Well, Catholic beat West Monroe 30-19 Friday night, so your point even more.
Look,
let them play.
Let's stop all of the split. You know, you're giving, what is it, 12, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 championships that are being awarded, and so you're seeing it's just so watered down in there. And it gets worse than this when you trickle into baseball and softball and basketball when you've got
win teams in the semifinals
making it into the playoffs, and you got to win
semifinal,
one game.
Not just the playoff, semifinal.
And they're going and they're saying, hey, and they're celebrating the fact that they've got to state. And I don't know.
You know, it's like what you kind of mentioned just now. I mean, wouldn't you have really loved to see in boys basketball, I think a couple of years ago when Peabody won 4A and I think STM won Division II right after that. Having the 1,000 win coaches of Danny Broussard and Coach Charles Smith facing against each other. I would love to just see those X's and O's. Just mic those guys both up.
And sit back and listen to the knowledge and the passion that goes on out of those guys. You know, Coach Broussard was such a class guy down there. And, you know, this year I think he's lost they lost Best. They lost the other
Domingue,
kid.
I think.
Yeah, Domingue. Carter Domingue that's gone too. And, of course, Besh made a crazy catch down there at Tiger Stadium last night. So it's a great program around there. One of the other questions, Renee Hicks asked us, do we think Ash is now the favorite to win 5A since Acadiana lost? I'm going to say no. But I'm going to say no, that I don't think that Ash is not the favorite to win there. But I'm also going to say that because Acadiana can pound and grind and you never know. But don't overlook that Zachary team.
Right.
Zachary is solid. The Holstein kid that was quarterback last year is just a sophomore. He's the real deal.
He is.
He is the absolute real deal. One thing I'll tell you, Renee, is this division is going to be fun to watch. The playoffs, you get down, there's probably 8 teams in 5A that are contenders and that really fully believe that they've got a shot. You go down in some of the other divisions. I mean, odds-on favorite in 4A has got to be Carr. I mean, without
Carr
a doubt.
Neville.
Yeah. That's going to be okay, I go back to my earlier question. Yes, Carr and Neville, that's another one to get down and see. Neville is just playing. This season is going to be one for the books. But, Lamar, I'll let you go back there. Your thoughts on the 5A favorite?
I mean, there's a lot of good schools out there, I think. I mean, I think they're going to be still in the mix there because, you know, Acadiana can always bounce back. Let's not forget about Captain Shreve. They have a very good team out there. Even some of the other guys down, like you said, Acadiana down there. Some of those teams there, I think that 5A is really, really strong, and night in, night out, once you get deeper and deeper into the playoffs, everybody should be there.
Yes.
Everybody.
And let me clarify my statement of that. The question was, did they think Ash was now the favorite? I think Ash has as good a shot as anybody. I think they are one of the most talented, explosive teams out there. I'm just telling you, there are a lot of teams, and I don't think just because Acadiana lost that takes them out of anything because they find ways to win. They're back-to-back state champions for a reason in the Wrecking Rams. But I will tell you this, Ash is going to be in the hunt, and they're going to be there in the entirety. Will, you can look at it from your side as well.
Well, Lafayette Christian beat Acadiana 14-13. It wasn't like they went and got blown out anywhere. And then I still like Ponchatoula. I know they've only got to play, I think, one game. But Ponchatoula was the team that I'd seen several films on. They look pretty good. And I think Ash is right there. I mean, like you, I think there's 5 to 8 teams in 4A that, you know, it's going to work itself out over the next week or so. And then, you know, West Monroe lost 30-19, but the West Monroe Ash game's always going to be a battle.
Right.
Speaking of that, let's get into some of the teams and how the top 10 fared. You know, the Louisiana Sports Writers Association puts out their top 10, and they vote on that, and they do that all the way from Class 5A all the way down to 1A, and they give you a little update of how they fared. So we're going to take and look at some of those teams, and we'll also talk about which one split out, which one will be in Division I, and which one will be playing for that 5A. The top 10 results are brought to you by Louisiana Day Trips and Tours, and it's a special company to my heart because, well, that's one of my ventures. And what they do, we do, is supply charter buses. So these teams that are getting ready to go to the playoffs, when that comes around, school trips, anything that you need, just reach out to us, and we'll be able to get that set up for you. Probably save you a little bit of money. Lamar, why don't you go through Class 5A for us?
Yeah, let's go through it here. Catholic, they defeated West Monroe 30-19. Zachary defeated St. Aug 45-35. Brother Martin beat East Ascension 8-7 in a good slobber knocker game there. Acadiana lost to Lafayette Christian 14-13. Ponchatoula and West Monroe tied. So Ponchatoula was
tied
top
in the
fifth.
rankings.
Tied in the rankings.
Yes.
So tied in the rankings there. Ponchatoula beat St. Helena 37-6. West Monroe, obviously, like we said, lost to Catholic. John Curtis, they were number 7, lost to Carr 33-19.
That was a game. Show you what 5A is getting. That was a game that was a Friday night game on ESPN too. So
yes,
that goes back to that question a little bit earlier. It's tough to determine a favorite at all.
Right.
Especially 3 weeks in.
Right.
Of course, and then you have Scotlandville, number 8. They lost to Warren Easton 42-28, another good team. Ash defeated Marksville 49-7, and Captain Shreve was number 10. They beat Union Parish 22-21.
It's just a great seeing these games up and down the line.
And a team that we don't even have on there, Ruston. I mean, I always will continue to say, I think they're one of those favorites in there too.
The Bearcats, year in and year out, they don't get as much in the rankings early on because they're just playing so many people. And look, I'm going to take the political correctness out of there. Yes, I do believe Ash is the favorite to win in 5A, but not just because Acadiana lost. So that gets me off of the hook for there. If you don't believe, go back and watch some of the football that's been playing. Jumping down to 4A, we'll look at it. Neville beats Gina, and hats off to Gina.
Gina's a good team
in that ball game, losing to Neville only 28-8. And I say only 28-8 because Neville is that good. They moved to 3-0. Carr has just won their first game. They're 1-0. They beat John Curtis. How do you like your first game of the season because of the hurricane and all of that to be on ESPN and be against John Curtis? And oh, by the way, you come out with a big victory.
That's cool stuff.
Yeah, that's what makes high school football so great. Karen Crow, they lose to Lafayette in 2 overtimes, 31-28. Warren Easton, another one of those teams that's going to battle for it. They beat a very tough Scotlandville team, 42-28. Westgate beats New Iberia 35-3. Had no issues there. They go to 2-1. Northwood of Shreveport gets the win. They win by forfeit. I assume only that is COVID related,
yes,
Lamar?
Yes.
Okay. And St. Thomas More, they get back on track. They win their first of the season, 63-0 over Plaquemine. And you knew that whoever St. Thomas More played in week 3 after those 2 losses was going to be in trouble.
It was going to be a bad night.
They were going to be in
They're
trouble.
They're going to be hurting.
Vanderbilt Catholic, they're 0-1. They lost to Arch Manning and the group down at Newman, 28-0. Assumption lost to Edie White, 7-0. Another one of those great ball games. And then Cecilia beats Denham Springs in a shootout, 48-44. We're going to jump into 3A and let Will look at that.
Well, University beat Dunham 35-0. We talked about Dunham this week headed into South Bow. Union Parish lost to Captain Shreve 22-21, just showing how good that Captain Shreve team is. St. James beat LB Landry 41-26. Madison Prep beat Parkview Baptist 42-3. De La Salle, they didn't play till Saturday. LCCP, they beat Southwood 37-0. They're in that district with South Bow.
De La Salle beat St. Charles Catholic 3-0 in that game on Saturday. 3-0. They win that game. So anyway, there you go.
Sterlington, another good solid team, beat Oak Grove, the defending 1A champs, 34-16. St. Martinville won by forfeit over Breaux Bridge. Edie White beat Assumption, and then Church Point beat Rain 25-0. And Rain, since beating Leesville in the playoffs 2 years ago, has kind of went way down from what they were.
Look, if you're not cycling young people into the program, you're going to have those issues. That's what makes these teams, Manny, that continue to do what they do year in and year out, and Carr and John Curtis and all of those teams, you see that. I want you to take 2A as well because that's some teams that you're familiar with a little bit more.
But me and Lamar get to see these teams all the time. Lafayette Christian beat Acadiana 14-13. That had to be a great game. Manny beat North DeSoto. We talked about 50-0.
And again, the way this ridiculous split is set up, those two won't face each other.
Yeah, they won't face anybody, not even on pay-per-view.
Unless we have a winner-take-all at the end of it. So I need you to call Eddie at one of your meetings down there and tell him, let's get this ridiculous split back together.
Well, Tuesday through Thursday's executive committee meeting. That ain't no secret. So we'll see what comes out of there.
You stand up and you tell him Doug said. Yeah,
I'll tell him Doug said, but not in front of nobody.
Ridiculous split, yeah.
Our Arch Manning, who we got to see play in the state semifinals in basketball,
sure did.
Lost.
Beat Menard is what the game we saw.
We did. Beat Vanderbilt 28-0. Amit beat Jules Sumner 27-7. Notre Dame 28-7 over Como. Mangum, another good solid team that was on Rosepine schedule. Now they're not. I wish they still were. Beat Caldwell. Lorville, who beat Rosepine out in the playoffs last year in the quarters, beat Kinder 31-8. That's a big win for Lorville. St. Charles played Saturday. Dunham, we said, lost 35-0 University. General Trask, another good team, 3-0, beat Bastrop 26-6. And then our last team out, like Lamar does, the last team out is those Rosepine Eagles, baby. 3-0. Let's get them in that top 10.
I've got them number 11 down at the bottom of it, and I put an asterisk beside it that says Lamar. Because Lamar
me and Lamar vote LSWA. We're Sports Writers Association. We vote for him every week.
Yep, we do.
And I actually have Coach Gomez, the statistician, sending the stats to every LSWA voter now every Friday night. So we're going to get them in the top 10.
Yep.
You got to think the Dunham loss pulls Dunham out of there.
We would think.
And moves him up. General Trask playing wonderfully.
Yep.
But you got to think Rosepine can get in there at the 10 spot. And wrapping things up now in Class 1A, Calvary beat Arcadia 62-0. OCS, Ouachita Christian 3-0. Now they beat Sicily Island 47-12. Southern Lab over McKinley 48-12. And Oak Grove in 1A ranked, or they're 0-3.
State champs
on the season, 0-3, and still number 4.
Yeah, but they're playing one heck of a schedule, though.
Sure
they haven't paid nobody in their classification yet.
Look, that's ridiculous. So you look at that and you just say, oh my goodness. Oak Grove at 0-3, poised for another big one. Ascension Catholic beats Haddon 30-8. Grand Lake, I don't have that one in there. They played
Grand Lake won.
Okay, Grand Lake wins that one. So the Grand Lake moves to 3-0. Vermilion Catholic lost to Abbeville 43-0. In Riverside 1-0 beats Carver 54-0. Boy, the bottom side of the top 10 here was dominant. Riverside beat Carver 54-0. Homer beats Ringgold 69-0. And Haynesville took on one of those out-of-state teams, and they beat Junction City, Arkansas 40-28. And that wraps up the Louisiana Sports Writers Association top 10 from 5A to 1A, brought to you by Louisiana Day Trips and Tours. Lamar, you had a thought on that last part of it, it looked like.
Yeah, I just wanted to say about Oak Grove, I mean, that 0-3 is very misleading. I mean,
sure
they played some very hard competition, and you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they win their next 7 games and basically come right back out there into the playoffs on fire.
And it may be a rematch with Grand Lake. Again, as way Grand Lake has looked this season, we could have a Class 1A rematch between the Grove and Grand Lake.
If anybody says, hey, we've got Oak Grove, they're 0-3, we got a chance, you need to get out of coaching. Because, look, when you're on that team is going to be there, they are solid, and we're going to follow a little bit more of that along the way. Going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to look ahead to Week 4. Can't believe it's Week 4. We're winding down on the bulk of the non-district schedules. Got a couple of more. A lot of homecomings, a lot of different things like that. We're going to take a break. 2 good questions in there tonight between Renee and Brandy. And so, look, the questions are in there. If you've got questions, we're giving away to the best question of the night a $25 gift certificate from Walk-Ons. Don't go anywhere. We will be back. This is Game On CENLA live from Walk-Ons, a 446 Sports presentation.
From the second you step in our front door, we work with each client individually, taking the time to understand their unique lifestyles and their wishes and their needs. When we search through properties for you, it's more than just a number of bedrooms or a zip code. It's about your life, and that's what's important to us. We work with you until we find that home of your dreams. When we do find that perfect home, we walk you through the process from the first step of making the offer all the way through until closing day, and we hand over those keys. Let the Trish Lala Group go to work for you. Find that dream home.
Back to Walk-Ons. I am Doug Gann alongside of Will Norris and Lamar Gafford. And so we talked about standouts. We've talked about some teams from last week. Looking ahead now as we start winding down district or non-district. Lamar, some of the things maybe that's a shock to you, some of the things you say, oh, this is about what I thought.
I'll say Winfield being 3-0. I did not expect that to happen. I thought they were going to be last place in their district, and I think the way that Coach Starp has this team going, I think they're in a good spot right now. They got to face against Red River to start off district play next week, so that's going to be a good test for them. But it's going to be interesting there. And also, I'd like to say LaSalle being 4-0 at this point. Like, I knew they were a good ball club, but, I mean, because, of course, now they're going to go to 4-0 because their opponent has COVID, so they've already forfeited. And so now they get that extra win. So, like you said, they win 2 ball games in 1 week. So that's always got to be a good thing there. But for them to start off at 4-0, that's got to give them a lot of praise right there.
Let me ask you both this question too. You don't want to buy this early, and that's what it ends up being the next week. You're 3-0, and you've got that momentum. Those guys want to be out on the field. They want to be out there playing on there.
Yes, sir.
You take the W, and you go on at 4-0. But playing football is what you want to do. So how do you approach that as a coach?
I wouldn't like it at all because you breaks your momentum. It gives your guys a week off that they do not want. And then, you don't want to play each other for, 2 weeks there. You got to play each other in practice. And, you're wanting a live opponent there. Even if you lose the game, you still want to play somebody live.
Right. You're wanting to get better, and sitting there at practice is not really what you had drawn up. Lamar, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I would rather do the same thing. I mean, I will say this, at least one of the things that Gina did when they had to pick up that forfeit win against Rayville was they went ahead, they honored the team, they honored their softball team, they honored their dance line, they honored everybody for that. So I think that was a neat way to do it, but I would also love to see a game being played. Even if it's inter-squad, which I don't think that they would want to do that right now because this is that point of the season. But shoot, at least get somebody out there that's not playing. Maybe a unsanctioned sanctioned match or something like that. Play in the cow pasture and let's go.
Sounds like his old WWE, WCW days, the dog collar match with the JYD and that. Looking ahead this week, where are you going to be Friday night?
I will be at the Butch to see Ash and Peabody face against each other. So
we're going to have to get your own parking spot over there.
Yeah. Can you work on that for me?
I'll do that. You can park next to me, and it's way out where it is. I'm like Rodney Dangerfield there. I get no respect at all. So you'll be at JL Butch Stoker Stadium. That is homecoming for the Ash Trojans as they host Peabody. Coach Marvin Hall and that group from Peabody struggling this year as well.
Tough start for them. I mean, they lost to Washington Marion and their game. Now they go down to 0-3, and it's trying to keep their morale up pretty much at this point. I mean, Arthur Lavallee had himself a very good game. He was actually one of our top performers this week because he had over 200 yards in his game, and 3 touchdowns. He's continuing to do everything right there for them, but it's just trying to translate everything to wins right now.
Right, I got you. That Ash Trojan team, full of speed, full all around defensively, getting guys back, getting them healthy again, and look, Joe Bordelon, one of the better passers in this area in a long time. He throws the ball right on the money, and the weapons that he has, I don't know what you do if you're that Peabody team to slow that down.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing there because, I mean, I know that some of the Peabody guys, they got some great athletes out there. I mean, Greg Knox is going to be one of those. I will definitely do a story on him sometime soon, and also Arthur, but it's also trying to stop some of those guys that Ash has. Having to stop a Jarvis Newton, having to stop a Mingo, or having to stop TJ right there. I mean, what can they do to kind of slow them down? That's going to be the big challenge there.
Best run of the season I saw was Friday night. And again, I haven't seen a whole lot of them. Most of Jarvis's have been through the seam, and he's gone. Chris Gorham put on a run. He goes 61 yards on a run, and it was one of the video game type of runs. He's spinning, he's bouncing off of players and goes to the house on there. And so that was good to see the senior Chris Gorham get that big run. But excited to see that one again. The distractions. We'll talk to Coach Bachman Thursday night back here from Walk-Ons. And again, we've got coaches shows Tuesday night out at Buckets. You can catch that out at the Eagles Nest with Coach Justin Charles and Menard. His coaches show, that's at 6 o'clock on Wednesdays. And then the Bryant Bell show is at 6 o'clock at Jim Deggy's. Of course, we said Kevin Cook's show was Tuesday night at Buckets at 6, and then the Thomas Bachman show here. We've got to get some of the Vernon Parrish and those guys, some coaches shows up here too. That's they need that.
Well, I think they need it. I've said for 5 years to KJR, local radio station that has a Thursday night sports show, that, Robbie Causey's on it every week, and I think it should be named the Robbie Causey Show. And then if, the other area coaches get picked up by another station or whatever and have their own individual shows, like the coaches are here showcase, which I love, and I always tune in to watch it. If I don't, I'll go watch the replay. But speaking of Coach Causey, that guy's coming in to Pineville on Friday night. If Robbie Causey wins that game, he will be the winningest all-time head coach in Leesville High School history.
Wow.
That'll be his 45th win, and he's done it in just 5 years. With the win against LaGrange, he tied Danny Smith, who had the Cecil Collins team that went to the Dome in 1995. So Coach Causey's got the opportunity to do that, which he could care less about it. He wants his team to play the right way and win, but that's just an accolade that he's not going to solicit, and nobody probably knows or will be mentioned other than I did, and I'll probably get a text in a minute getting chewed out for that.
Well, let me throw this out to you then, all right? If nobody wants to do it because it's well-deserved down there, we'll come down there on Monday nights. You find us a restaurant and a sponsor, and we'll come down there and we'll do it on the internet on here. So how's that? We don't have to worry about it going out anywhere else. There you go.
That'd be a cool deal if he's available. That'd be something really cool that I think that man would love, and he's a walking soundbite.
Oh, ain't no doubt about it, right?
And if you listen to him before, during, or after the game, and I told him this about 3 years ago. Actually, I take him a cookie cake on his birthday every year, but that's irrelevant. But I'll listen to him.
It's not that irrelevant because he told us last week too.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I gotta get my cookie sponsor in there, Doug. I'm working.
See what he's doing.
I'm trying to get in there. I'm learning from the best. But anyway, Robbie, you listen to him at halftime, before the game, or during the week in the field house. I never played football. I was a year ahead of football at Pickering, but I mean, at almost 50 years old, I told him, I said, Coach, I would think about, I wouldn't think about the aches and pains, but I would think about dressing out and going to battle with you on Friday night. I mean, my dad was a coach, and I know how you motivate players, and I watched it my whole life, either for good, bad, or indifferent. But Robbie Causey, if you don't want to run through a brick wall for Robbie Causey, and if you're a player listening to us now, turn your stuff in tomorrow. Because that man right there, nobody will get you. There's great coaches everywhere, but Robbie Causey will get you fired up and ready to play. And they had Nathan Mawai was out Friday night, and he didn't pout or cry. It was next man up. And the kid looked at him. Robbie said, "You got a little bit of dog in you. I believe in you. Get out there and bite somebody." And that's what he did, and that's what you got to love. And they blew LaGrange out. And Robbie was nice in that game. And now coming to Pineville, if those 4 or 5 defensive starters aren't there, then it's next man up, and he's not asking any questions.
Well, I'll have to clear it with my executive producer on Monday nights too.
We already got him 7 days a week.
You get that's right. You get us a restaurant down there. We'll come down there and we'll do the Robbie Causey show. We'll do that. Look, Lamar, all of the political correctness now is getting out of the way. My man Will's getting fired up. We're doing this. Lamar, I've even had to turn him down just a little bit because he's getting so loud.
Okay.
What's your thoughts on Tioga's Caleb Sullivan's play on both sides of the ball, Lamar? That came, oddly enough, came from us. I don't know. That's Chuck. Chuck over there has asked that question.
But
so we'll get your thoughts.
Yeah, I'll say this. I mean, I think he should be counted for 2 touchdowns in this game because he had a big touchdown-saving tackle in the game before halftime that really kept the game scoreless, and I think that kept momentum and turn momentum to Tioga's way because he was the one that scored the touchdown at in the third quarter for them. And so, he had a very good way in both sides of the ball there, and I had to give him his props there.
How was the crowd out there that night?
Oh, great from both sides.
Yeah.
Great from both sides. There was that one play where everything was Pineville thought that they were going to get the extra point. And, of course, you got the Pineville band playing, and then, of course, the bobbled snap in here. And next thing you know, you got the Tioga band out there playing the war chant. So it was kind of something there.
Look, let me tell you, you talk about bands playing. So you've seen the video and the pictures that we posted from where we were at in Marksville. Mm-hmm. We were in the back of Chuck's truck with my camera set up on the roof of the truck, and Daryl, our cameraman, is set up at the top of the bleachers. Well, here comes the band and all, and I was thinking that's where they were going to be to start with because they're always on the right end down there. and here come the band and the Troy Dolls and the pump and all of this, and we're just there. We've got the generator running. We've got our Sky Mobile LLC.com. You can reach out to 446 Sports for any information you need on internet anywhere you go.
Nice plug.
See, thank you. Thought you might like that. I am an affiliate, and if you use that link, then I do get paid. So anyway, but the internet's really cool. So we had the Honda generator plugged in the back of the truck, all of the equipment set up on top of the truck, the camera we were running, and man, that's just high school football. It's good stuff. So yes, the band was right there. The point that I made through all of that was the band was right beside us playing the entire night, and somehow Chuck muffled everything and you couldn't hear it over the internet broadcast. So we're very, very thankful about that one. Yeah, I lose my train of thought. We're going to take our final break of the night. When we come back, we're going to look ahead one last time at what is going on, and somebody is going to win a $25 gift. No, Chuck. Somebody else is going to win a $25 gift card to Walk-Ons. And I'm not kidding. Find us somewhere down there, and we'll go down there. I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for this. I don't know where Rose Pine is, but we'll go do a show down there somewhere, too. I don't even know where's Rose Pine.
Here we go.
I don't know.
Brandy, send you Google Maps. Get ready, buddy.
I don't know. Is it what's it by?
At our south, well, not an hour south, but like 15 minutes south of Leesville.
Oh, gosh, maybe next year we'll get – no, I'm kidding. We're flexible and willing to travel. Anyway, we'll be back to wrap things up. This is Game on CENLA. 446 production. We're doing it all live here at Walk-Ons.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Security Sporting Good wants to tell you all camo is 50% off, and it's fishing season. In the red corner, it's Powerhouse Combo, Zoom, and Lose. And in the blue corner, seasoned veteran Abu Garcia. These three name brands will take care of all your fishing needs. Plus, Old Town Kayaks are coming soon. Need a handgun? In stock, Springfield, Sig, Glock, and Smith & Wesson at Security Sporting Goods, 2220 Memorial Drive, Alexandria.
The following things are just plain wrong. Pouring coffee into a light socket. Dressing a 300-pound man in a tiny pink Speedo. And hiring an unqualified employee for your business.
Express Employment Professionals in Alexandria is here to assist you in hiring that right employee or helping you find your perfect career. Apply online at expresspros.com/AlexandriaLA.
In Central Louisiana, you might see me at the ballparks or soccer fields, or we might cross paths at the grocery store. I'm your local Farm Bureau insurance agent, your local expert when it comes to protecting what you love and depend on. I'm Jason Hawk. Learn more about how Farm Bureau insurance can save you time and money. So talk to Hawk at 318-791-HAWK and let me help you protect your biggest investments. Real service, real people. Farm Bureau Insurance.
It all started with a sketch on a napkin. An idea created by two walk-on bench warmers. And after 10 years of hard work and perseverance to turn their dream into a reality, it's the #1 sports bar in America.
Welcome to Walk On.
Walk-ons, because everyone needs a little playing time.
And we are back live to Walk-Ons. This is Game on CENLA. Before I get myself in too much trouble, I know that it's south of there between Leesville and DeRitter, so don't anybody write in that I get in trouble. I'm not quite the honorary mayor of it like you are, Will.
No, my aunt's the mayor, Rose Pine. My Aunt Donna. Being honest. Just telling you. Pickering, we don't have a town. People ask me why our numbers are so bad at Pickering, because every other football team in Central Louisiana has a town. Pickering, we have no town. We're just a little bunched up community right next to Fort Polk, and you know, there's not enough home kids there to support a football team right now when you're dressing out about 20 kids on Friday nights.
I just can't when we're calling the honorary mayor, and he says, well, my aunt's.
My Aunt Donna.
That's
we can get you the key to the city there. It may be about that big.
But we'll take it indeed. A couple of other schools from around this area. I know we stretch out the other way. We talked a little bit about Grant. Give me your thoughts on Grant and what they're doing this year.
Yeah, they're on fire right now, too. Now, they pick up a win by forfeit against Block, so now they're 3-0. and they're going to get ready to get into their next game coming up. So, Coach Dylan, Dylan Barrett, he has this team going well.
Look, he did a great job with them last year. And Brandy Fry is the greatest. She just pin dropped Rose Pine's location.
Told you it was coming.
Look, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give myself there's so much love for those Rose Pine folks, and I don't know any of them yet, but you got to understand, I do this to myself. She did. She did. I get that. Monkey Panthers off to another great year themselves. Tell us about Monkey.
Drilled Pickering 31-8. Suseda had 92 yards passing, 82 rushing, pair of touchdowns, 1 rushing, 1 passing. They're 2-0. They missed week 2. They didn't have an opponent. But I think Bunky's a surprise team, for me and Lamar a little bit.
Right. How about this? Week 4, great game in the parish, of course, between Vols and Bunky. That's going to be a big, big game.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah, that's certainly one of those. Andy Boone and that group, you just can't talk enough about the offense that they run. And so we'll see what Bunky's able to do in that one. So we've got a couple of weeks left in non-district for the bulk of the teams. A couple other big matchups that you like, Lamar, from teams. Say, okay, here's another big matchup before district starts.
Yeah, I think this week, just mainly based off of pride, of course you have Pineville against Leesville. That's going to be a big matchup between those two teams. I think for City Pride, Ash and Peabody, I know how this way is going to go, but of course the Peabody squad, they're not going to quit in this one. They're going to want to go out there and put on a good show against Ash.
Because the guys grow up together.
Yeah,
that's what thing. They've been playing ball forever together, and it's good to see it. There'll be a little trash talking among some of the fans, but these players won't. They're focused, both Peabody and Ash, because Peabody would love to come in and upset the season that Ash is having, but then to beat them at home and to beat them on homecoming, that fuels your fire right there.
Absolutely. And I think some of the other games we have, Tioga and Manny, I just think for at least seeing two good coaches go up against each other, seeing Jess Curtis face against the Kevin Cook out there at Manny, I think that's going to be a good one too.
That game is going to have video coverage on it from the Tioga feed. You'll be able to watch on the 104.3 The Bridge Facebook page and listen to that on 104.3 The Bridge if you are here locally or the app. But you'll check out the video. And on that call from the Tioga side, Scott Mills and Billy French. But, yes, that is going to be a slobber knocker indeed. Something either week 4 or week 5 that you've got coming up that you say, hey, before district happens, this is one you want to watch.
I want to watch the Leesville offense keep going the way they are. Max come in the other night, was 8 for 10, 176 yards, 3 touchdown passing, in a good bounce-back start from the Captain Shreve game. Caleb Galashaw on 8 touches accounted for 251 yards.
On 18 touches?
8.
8? I thought I heard that right. 8 touches for how many yards?
251 total yards on 8 touches, and then started the game right. The way you want to, 95-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. So when you say punch somebody in the face, that's exactly what he did with that kickoff return for a touchdown. And another big game in my area, and I didn't mention them on the surprise team, I didn't really know if DeRidder would be 2-1. DeRidder Dragons are 2-1. Right. They're in the district with Tioga and Leesville. They're hosting Westlake, who comes in. They've scored 116 points in 3 games.
Wow.
They're being led by former Pickering Red Devil, our first ever quarterback in school history, John Richardson, who won a state championship as the head coach of the Welsh Greyhounds. And these boys come in, dropped 116 points the first 3 games of the year, beat Vinton 40-12. They'll travel to DeRidder this week, and DeRidder with a big, we said 28-27 big win at Jennings. So this is another big game for Coach Parmalee and his revamped DeRidder Dragon team that I think people thought they would have a slow start. But if you pull off a win against Westlake at home, you're rolling into that district like we talked about.
And look, that district is full of new quarterbacks this year. Remember, they all had their senior quarterbacks last year. It's a brand new start for them. Question here locally. What does Menard got to do to get things right over there at the Eagles Nest?
I think this week would be the week for them. They got Lakeview. Lakeview is a pretty athletic squad, but I think this is going to be the week that's going to cure all ills for them. I think they've been close again. I know
that game Friday night just got away from it, 17-17 late.
Yeah, and from what I heard, that was Brett McCormick. He was there. He said he was raving about the St. Mary's quarterback Adam Parker. He said he's as good as advertised. So nice to see him go out there and have a show. But I think this Menard Eagle team, I think this is good. This will be the week for them to get a win.
Coach Teague and that Bolton group, what do we do there?
Well, same thing. I think they got Buckeye. Buckeye's going to be very focused out there this week. They're coming in at 1 and 2.
That's always a battle.
Yeah, that's going to always be a battle. But of course, I think in order to get those sales up here for his DVDs, come on, Coach T, let's get a win out here. Let's get a win.
That's right. To sell those videos on your offense, that offense has got to start going. But look, I'm going to tell you, Coach Teague is is probably one of the best gentlemen you'll find through there. It's so passionate about his kids. It just got married. I guess it's been about a year now.
Yeah, a year or two, I think.
Yeah,
now,
it hadn't been long. I remember his big proposal out on the field, too. And so just a great time for that program that's over there. We did say that we were going to give away a walk-ons gift certificate tonight. So we're going to do that to the best question of the night. And I'm going to read that question that we chose again, and then Chuck is going to put that graphic up. So the question was, if you could take any two teams in Louisiana to play each other, what two teams would you pick? And we said a lot of different ones. I said Edna Carr and LC.
I said LCA and Manny.
LCA, that's what I meant. Oops, no, I love those guys. Anyway, so yeah, Brandy Fry, congratulations. Brandy Fry is the winner. We'll get that out in the mail to you, or I can deliver it when you come up on Rose Pine Eagle Night here. We're letting Will set that up. What a great time. Next Sunday needs to be that time. Will, you got a lot of work to do this week among all the youth things that you're doing and all of that's going on. You got to set up a Robbie Causey show for us down there, and then you got to set up Rose Pine Night here.
Well, I got Coach Ducote working on that, so we're ahead of the game on that.
Anybody that comes in Rose Pine gear on Rose or any night when and then look, this is not a Maryville night. We'll have Maryville night. We'll have South Bow night. See, the crowd's excited about Maryville.
Let's do it.
Everybody wants to see Maryville come to town. Walk-Ons is going to give them 20% off of their bill that night just for coming in. So you got to come in during the show, and you've got to have your school's gear on. We've got a few weeks left in the playoffs, but we want you to come in and fill that up and enjoy. We'll take questions from the crowd. We'll get some of the players on board. We'll do all of that. But congratulations to Brandy Fry. She is the winner of the $25 Walk-Ons gift card. We'll get that this week and get that sent out to you. I would give it to Will, but I got to get it from the owner.
Chuck can steal it from me.
Chuck was wanting that for his question on there. So that didn't work. And I do appreciate the pin drop. Now I know where it's at. No, just kidding. They can come the 26th. She said that's next Sunday. So, see, Will, you don't have to set it up. That's
hopefully celebrating a 4-0 season opener and a big homecoming win.
What a way to talk about that. Bring the mayor, too. Bring the mayor down here. That's Aunt Donna, right?
Yeah, Aunt Donna. If she'll make the bus trip, we'll get her over here. But I would love to be at Pineville if Coach Causey pulled off that win to become the all-time winningest coach in Leesville. He don't care about that. He wants his team to play good and win a game. I'm going to Rose Pine Sacred Heart. Both teams are 3-0. It should be a great ball game. I'll be there, and I'll text you Lamar updates throughout the night. And I think it's going to be one of those things where if the Eagles want to make a statement headed into district, that's a team they need to do it against, because right now, and like Ric Flair says, to be the man, you got to beat the man. Until Rose Pine beats Kinder, everything else is just rumor and innuendo. When that game happens, we'll see where the Eagles stand. It's at Kinder this year, and I'm looking forward to that, as well as I'm looking forward to that Avoyelles Manning game. And then I'm looking forward to, Leesville playing several teams. So there's so many good games in our area that, that we're looking forward to. Me and Lamar just trying to get to as many as we can on any given Friday night.
Look, this is one of those seasons, and it's so great because of what a disappointing one we had last year with playing 4 and 5 games and some teams not making the playoffs because of short seasons and COVID stopping some playoff runs and all of those things. It just seems like it's a little bit normal. I know there's some other chaos and things going on, but I don't remember as big of early season matchups as we've seen this year.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll even go ahead and say I don't remember as many teams right now being at the start of the season being so good at this point. Like this year, I had to take out my Gafford's 11, and right now I'm in a situation where there's some teams that are undefeated that haven't even cracked my list yet, and I'm like, I can't even.
I know it's
coming. I know it's coming.
Let me ask you this: if you got a top 10, how many teams are in there?
10.
If you got a Super 6, how many kids are in there?
6.
Okay, there's no participation. There's no if you're not there, get there.
But we got to give some love to those teams on the outside looking in.
Do you honestly, Lamar's one of my best friends.
Okay.
Yes, I know.
But not in football season. You know, not near as bad. But in basketball season, do you know how many texts I get because of the number 11 team? Not because I'm not in the top 10. It's because who I'm number 11. I quit sending them to him, and I just quit saying anything about it. And I tried to tell him, I said, look, it's a top 10, and I don't know why he goes to 11. But then when you said it to me, it wasn't just me. And so I just quit saying anything about number 11. I just share it on my page and smile and go on.
Okay, here's 3 things that I don't like.
About Lamar?
No.
Oh,
Lamar,
man.
no words. I love Lamar. Lamar is a
Me
wonderful.
too.
He is a wealth of knowledge, and all of this is mostly done in jest.
Yeah, I need him.
All of this is mostly done in fun. So I don't like the split. You all know that. I don't like select and non-select.
We
Get out,
unanimously.
and it all goes to the same thing. I don't like the play-in game in the NCAA tournament. If it's the round of 64, by gosh, let it be 64.
Yes,
I don't
sir.
care. Do better next year and get in there, and don't be the on the bubble or the last man out or any of that. So why don't you put all 120 something teams in there if you're going to do that? Because realistically, it's only one more game, and you knock all that. So don't go to 66, 67 teams. And if it's your top 10. It needs to be 10, not 11. You got 10 fingers. How many do I have? 10. I don't have 11. So there you go. Lamar, congratulations on a big win. ULM
Yes.
taking care of prime. You went to the game.
I went to the game.
Did you get to go down there with your media pass and media?
I didn't. I didn't have my media pass. I was just out there as a fan, and the atmosphere was electric just to see out there in Malone Stadium. My first game out there in 2 years, because when I saw them play Memphis. But it was electric. The kicker of the game here,
right.
I think he deserves to be my MVP because he kicked 4 field goals, and they won 12-7.
So does that speak to Jackson State playing well, or does that speak to ULM struggling?
I'll say this. The defense looked pretty good for ULM. The offense, I think they can just get a couple of tweaks in here and there, but they did enough just to win the game. But here's the good thing is they didn't turn over the ball. They didn't turn over the ball against Kentucky, and so far they're +7 in the turnover differential.
That's going to make a difference going down the season. That's going to do a lot of things. Look, a lot of things that we say is in jest. 1 and 2 of my top 3 are non-negotiable. I don't like those at all. But there are probably several things that I do that a lot of folks out there don't like either. So it's okay. But I'm glad to know that my man Will has the same thought on some of these things that I have. So we're all in agreement that it should be no split, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Well, then that's easy. We got nothing else to talk about. No. Look, we're going to try better next week. We're going to do some things. There's some things that we probably have to work on ourselves. We'll get back to tackling and blocking and doing all of those things. Great job tonight with the couple of questions that we had. Go back and share this to somebody. Brandy, we're going to hold you to that coming in on the 26th. That's Sunday. Remember, Walk-Ons is going to give anybody that comes in team-specific gear for their night, we're going to give them 20% off of their bill. So bring as many people as you can dressed in your Rose Pine gear or your Maryville gear or your South Bow or East Bow or North Bow. No, I'm kidding. I know there's not. Don't get me. I know there's not. I'm just passionate about what we do. It's been a lot of fun. Party comments, Will?
I'm just looking forward to the weekend, and I'm looking forward to that big Rose Pine matchup. And I think we got so many good games around the area. Next Sunday's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, I'm the same here. I mean, I think we're going to have a lot of good matchups. Obviously, Bunkie and the Bulls, that's going to be a very big one to start off district play there. And I just think that we're going to have ourselves a great week of football again.
Indeed we are. It is football season, and we are rolling along. Everybody's got the Dome as their goal, or they very well should. that's going to wrap it up tonight for Game on CENLA. Want to thank our executive producer Chuck Perkins for getting all of the things rolling along. We appreciate Chuck trying to. He's like Alfred Hitchcock. He's got to get into this one scene on what he does. I have to explain to D'Lo who Alfred Hitchcock is. He's our intern, but appreciate him. Is he awake over there?
I don't know. He moved in a little while.
In a little while. He keeps our light and the camera and all that. Runs the camera for us on Friday nights. Does a great job. So Chuck did make it in. I did see that there. Will Norris from BWS Sports from that Vernon, Sabine, Beauregard area, and pretty much all of Central Louisiana. Thank you for coming up each week and doing what you do. Lamar Gafford from the Town Talk. Anybody that knows Lamar knows what a hard worker he is and what he adds to what we do. And I thank all of you guys. Couldn't do any of this without you. And, of course, I thank God for allowing us to do what we do just one more time. And, God willing, we'll see you guys. I'll see you back on the Thomas Bachman Show Thursday night, Ash Football Friday, and then right back here on what we think might be Rose Pine night.
Yes, sir.
And find that Robbie Causey show, too. Dadgummit.
We'll talk to
you
him
got to
as
say
well.
Dadgummit if you're talking about Robbie Causey because that's one of his things. I mean,